As the new year is approaching, all the companies are thinking about how they can make their customers and fans happy, but none of them have a better gift than SpaceX has for space enthusiasts. And what better gift could there be than witnessing the largest rocket lift off the ground? Yep, SpaceX is preparing to launch the Starship on the new year, and Musk revealed that it's going to be a launch unlike anything we've witnessed before. In this video, we'll see when exactly this launch will happen and how it's going to go. Before we delve any deeper, please make sure to subscribe to our channel for future updates about the Starship and SpaceX's other groundbreaking achievements. Starship launches used to be months apart because SpaceX was new to launching such a massive rocket. On top of that, getting launch licenses was one of the hardest challenges for them. For example, after the first Starship test flight in April 2023, it took nearly 7 months before Flight 2 took off in November. Then, between the second and third flights, the gap was around 5 months, as SpaceX worked on upgrades while waiting for the green light from regulators. But this has now changed. SpaceX is getting faster at preparing for these flights, and the FAA is streamlining the licensing process as well. For instance, between the 5th and 6th flights, there was only a gap of 53 days, an incredible improvement. And here we are again. It's been just a few weeks since the 6th flight, and SpaceX has already announced the date for Flight 7. According to NASA documents filed with the FAA, Flight 7 is scheduled for no earlier than January 11th. But this time, it's not just another test. We're going to see the next-generation Starship, also known as Starship V2, in action. The first version of Starship was more about testing Musk's big ideas. Version 2 is where those ideas start turning into reality. First, let's talk about the size. Starship V2 is now 52.1 meters tall, almost 2 meters taller than the previous version. While this may seem like a small change, it's part of a much larger vision. Musk has always talked about building starships capable of reaching Mars. And for that mission, the ultimate version of Starship is expected to be even larger. But getting to that size is no small feat. SpaceX knows that scaling up too quickly would introduce huge risks, so they're taking a step-by-step approach, gradually increasing the size and capabilities of Starship with each iteration. Of course, a bigger rocket also needs more power. This is where the engines come in. Starship is powered by SpaceX's Raptor engines, which are some of the most advanced engines in the world. But for a rocket this ambitious, even the best engines need to evolve. SpaceX has been working on a new version of their engine called Raptor 3. This version is lighter, more efficient, and even more powerful than its predecessor, Raptor 2. Early reports suggest that Raptor 3 can produce around 250 to 260 tons of thrust per second engine, a significant jump from the 230 tons produced by Raptor 2. This is a big deal because the current Super Heavy booster already uses 33 Raptor engines to lift the Starship. With Raptor 3, SpaceX could generate far more power without needing to increase the number of engines. However, if Musk's vision of scaling Starship to its ultimate size continues, SpaceX may still add even more engines to future boosters. It's not just the size that changed on version 2 Starship. There are hundreds of upgrades, big and small, that make this version stronger, smarter, and more capable than ever before. One big upgrade is the heat shield. Starship needs a heat shield to survive re-entry into the atmosphere. The belly of the ship is covered with about 18,000 heat shield tiles that look like hexagons. These tiles are mostly the same shape, which makes them easier to build, replace, and maintain, something that was a big headache with older rockets like the Space Shuttle. The old heat shield on earlier flights wasn't perfect. Some tiles fell off, and the backup layer underneath wasn't strong enough to fully protect the ship. SpaceX has fixed this problem. Musk said the new heat shield tiles are about twice as strong as the old ones. Plus, they added another layer underneath which can protect the ship if some tiles break off. There's also been a change to the Starship flaps. The flaps are like wings that help control the ship as it re-enters the atmosphere. In the new version, the angle of the flaps has been adjusted to reduce stress during re-entry. The forward flaps now have better heat shielding too, so they can handle the extreme heat that happens when the ship comes back into the atmosphere. Meanwhile, Blue Origin is facing significant challenges with its highly anticipated New Glenn rocket, which was promised to launch before the end of this year. It's now clear that this launch is absolutely not happening anytime soon. While SpaceX continues to push boundaries with rapid Starship development and frequent testing, Blue Origin's progress has been noticeably slower, and it's becoming increasingly apparent how far behind they are falling. The New Glenn was announced in 2016 with great excitement. At the time, Jeff Bezos made bold claims about its capabilities. Designed to be a heavy-lift, reusable rocket with a massive 7-meter fairing, New Glenn was supposed to compete with SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and later Starship. The company promised that New Glenn would launch in 2020. Fast forward 4 years, and the rocket still hasn't seen the light of day on the launch pad. Jeff Bezos has been putting billions of dollars into the company to keep it alive. Every year, he sells about $1 billion worth of Amazon shares to fund Blue Origin. Even with all that money, the progress has been incredibly slow. New Glenn was announced back in 2016 and was supposed to fly in 2020. 4 years later, it's still not ready. One big issue is the BE-4 engines, which power New Glenn. These engines have been delayed for years, which has slowed down everything. The same engines are also needed for ULA's Vulcan rocket, so Blue Origin's delays are affecting other companies too. While SpaceX is launching rockets almost every week and testing Starship at a crazy pace, Blue Origin's only working rocket is New Shepard, a small suborbital vehicle for space tourism. It's nowhere near as ambitious as New Glenn. The problem isn't money. Bezos is investing plenty of it. The problem is speed. SpaceX builds, tests, fails, and learns fast. Blue Origin, on the other hand, is moving too slowly, and it's starting to show. Without a successful New Glenn launch, it's hard for anyone to take Blue Origin's big promises seriously. This is why Flight 7 matters so much. It's not just another test launch, it's proof that SpaceX is making real progress. If this flight is successful, we'll see Starship start to fly more often, carry more satellites, and move closer to carrying humans into space. Starship is more than just a rocket. It's a symbol of what's possible when we refuse to give up on big ideas. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching.